You might remember this incredible guy.
Oh! Hammers it! Are you serious, Deron Williams?
Or maybe it's this guy you remember.
Williams gets it to Deron, a foul.
Perhaps your memories go back even further.
Williams could tie it with a three. He does!
Or maybe you're a Logan Paul fan and happen to catch his beatdown on NFL running back Frank Gore. I apologize if this is what your only memories of him look like. I'm sure he does too, because you missed the best part of Deron Williams and his absolute dominance.
Oh, he just killed Vasquez.
Regardless of what your personal memories of him look like, Deron Williams was a nightmare for NBA defenses. His impressive quickness, court vision, fire, and intelligence shined in a Jerry Sloan offense that was never expected to amount to much. His strength was a huge part of his game. He had the physique of Eric Gordon, the powerful crossovers of Baron Davis, the court vision that could rival Steve Nash, and the creativity of Chris Paul. However, stubborn attitudes and disagreements led the Utah Jazz to trade him to a struggling Brooklyn franchise, just as he seemed to be reaching his peak. He left his mark on the NBA and then vanished in a flash, leaving basketball fans with so many what-ifs. Let's revisit how amazing PRIME Deron Williams was.
Yo, man, what are you doing? We haven't even started yet.
Let the games begin.
The year is 2005. The Utah Jazz just finished another incredibly sad season. This was the dark ages for Jazz fans after Karl Malone and John Stockton retired. In the offseason prior, the Jazz signed star power forward Carlos Boozer to a 6-year deal worth $68 million. That move alone didn't amount to much, as the Jazz finished almost dead last in the Western Conference at a 26-56 record. This was the franchise's worst season since 1982. The team needed additional help to try and make a splash in the stacked Western Conference. The Jazz looked ahead to the NBA draft for a top-tier guard to partner with Boozer, Mehmet Okur, and Russian star Andrei Kirilenko. Utah ended up with the 6th and the 27th pick. The draft's top 2 point guards were Illinois guard Deron Williams and Wake Forest guard Chris Paul. Both guards were expected to be gone by the 5th pick. The Jazz moved fast and sent the 6th and 27th pick to Portland, plus a 2006 first-round pick. That allowed the Jazz to move up to pick number 3 and secure their guy. With the 3rd pick, the Jazz selected Deron Williams, which made him the highest selected Illinois player in history. What exactly was it that made legend coach Jerry Sloan and general manager Kevin O'Connor feel like they had their guy in Williams? Deron Williams had an unforgettable Hall of Fame career at Illinois. In 2005, his final season, he led the team to a school record 37 victories and only 1 loss. He then led the team in 2 consecutive Big Ten championships in 2004 and 2005. His career was highlighted when the team made it to the national championship game in 2005. You might remember the miracle at Mannheim against Arizona in the Elite Eight. The Illini found themselves down by 12 points with only 6 minutes left to go. That's when scrappy guard D. Brown and Deron Williams went to work to get them back in the game. D. Brown made this quick steal to make it only a 1-possession game. Arizona then throws a terrible inbound pass that gets batted away by Jack Ingram. The ball ends up in the hands of Deron Williams, where he nails an incredible shot to seal the seemingly impossible comeback. Illinois won this game in overtime to advance to the Final Four. Illinois ultimately lost a close game in the national championship game to Raymond Felton's Tar Heels. But this championship run truly showed how many dynamic skill sets Deron Williams possessed. He was exactly what the Jazz felt like they needed. In his rookie season, Jazz fans had high hopes for Deron. Filling John Stockton's shoes as the team's primary playmaker wasn't going to be easy. Jerry Sloan made sure that wasn't expected of the young guard initially.
He's not going to be John Stockton. We don't expect him to be John Stockton. We want him to be Deron Williams and the guy that we think he's going to be.
He began the season coming off the bench, allowing him time to adjust to the team's system. Despite this gradual introduction, Deron had an impressive rookie year, averaging 10 points and 4 assists per game. Meanwhile, Chris Paul claimed the Rookie of the Year award, securing 124 out of 125 first-place votes. Interestingly, Deron received the sole remaining first-place vote and finished 5th in the overall voting. Since Paul and Williams were picked back-to-back in the draft, there would be a friendly rivalry between the two guards for the entirety of their career. The Jazz missed the playoffs, but ended the year with an improved 41-41 record. Deron's 2006-2007 sophomore season is where he started to truly shine in his role with the team. The Jazz added veteran point guard Derek Fisher in an offseason trade with the Golden State Warriors. The team started the season a franchise-best 12-1. This success for Williams continued throughout the season as he posted career-best stats. He posted back-to-back double-double games with 26-14 and 27-15. January 24th, in a game against the Grizzlies, he recorded an insane 21 assists. This season, he was able to improve his stats in almost every category by averaging 16 points and 9 assists per game. The Jazz finished the season in 4th place in the Western Conference and finally ended their 3-year playoff drought. Deron Williams showed he wasn't shy in big games during their first series against the Houston Rockets. Deron scored double figures in every game of the 7-game series. This was against a stacked Rockets team led by Tracy McGrady and Yao Ming. In Game 7, Deron Williams showed his star power and scored 20 points and had 14 assists to close out the Rockets in Houston. The Jazz advanced to play Derek Fisher's ex-team, the Golden State Warriors. This Warriors team was the 8th seed and had pulled an incredible upset on the number 1 seed Dallas Mavericks. The Jazz made sure their Cinderella story was short-lived when they beat the Warriors 4-1 in the series. Deron had a strong series and posted 2 double-double games. The Jazz advanced to the Western Conference Finals for the first time since 1998. They were severely outmatched by the Greg Popovich Spurs, though, and lost the series 4-1. Deron Williams played the best basketball of his career during the series. He scored 34 points in the series opener and continued these high-scoring numbers throughout the series of 26, 31, and 27. The Spurs veteran spoke highly of the young Williams after the series. Bruce Bowen said, "That's what's missing today in the NBA is solid point guards. You have scoring guards, you have guards that can't do some things. He goes to a team that really needs a great point guard, and he just fits the mold of a young Stockton." That sophomore season showed Coach Jerry Sloan that he had a very special player that was ready to take over the team. In the 07-08 season, Williams was calling most of the team's plays. That was something that not even John Stockton had the luxury of doing. He continued to improve his game and his stats. In that season, Deron averaged almost 19 points and 10 assists per game. He was really showing the league that he was a top-tier point guard. Despite of the growing skills and status for Williams, the Jazz couldn't recreate their playoff success in the upcoming years. It was mainly due to a guy you might have heard of named Kobe Bryant. He had their number and never let them forget it by beating them 3 years in a row. In 2008, Deron Williams was one of 3 point guards for the USA team who became known as the Redeem Team. He played valuable minutes alongside Jason Kidd and Chris Paul on their way to a gold medal. He averaged 8 points and 3 assists per game. Plus, he made sure elderly Jason Kidd didn't have any sudden injuries on their trip abroad.
Thanks. You get this on tape. It's killing me to Rick Bucher talking about my age.
I don't want him spraining the ankle or hurting the knee just coming down these steps. Yeah.
The 2009-2010 season was a breakthrough year for Deron Williams. He was finally starting to get the national recognition his play deserved. In December, he was named the Western Conference Player of the Week. He also earned his first career All-Star Game invite. Deron put up heroic numbers in the playoffs by becoming the second player in Jazz history to score 30 points and get 10 assists in a playoff game. He also became the first player in NBA history to record 20 points and 10 assists in 5 straight playoff games. During his stint with the Jazz, Williams was ranked in the top 20 in value over replacement consistently. He had become a star in the league, and it seemed there was no stopping him. In 2011, tragedy struck the Utah Jazz, and Deron Williams' career was changed forever. An apparent mid-game argument between Jerry Sloan and Williams led to Sloan leaving the team mid-season. Both sides have often disputed these claims. Williams even was quoted as saying, "I would never force Coach Sloan out of Utah. He meant more to this town, more to this organization than I have by far. I would have asked out of Utah first." Former Jazz player Raja Bell recently told the story of how he remembers Sloan announcing he was quitting. "We have a thing in Utah where you bring it in and everybody says, 1, 2, 3, Jazz!" So we rang it in, and Jerry Sloan, livid. He goes, 1, 2, 3, good luck! Everyone looked around confused on whether they heard him right. Did he just say good luck? Next morning, his resignation was announced, and he was never seen by the team again. Whatever the true story was, Sloan's resignation completely changed Deron Williams' career. A few weeks later, the Jazz traded Williams to the New Jersey Nets for Devin Harris, Derek Favors, 2 first-round picks, and $3 million in cash. Jazz management staff never claimed it had anything to do with the Sloan fallout. They just never felt like they received enough indication he might re-sign with the team before his contract was complete. Deron Williams started his career with the Brooklyn Nets in spectacular fashion. In his first 3 games, he set an NBA record with 47 assists for a player joining a new team. His immediate impact was undeniable, boosting the scoring of teammates Brook Lopez and Chris Humphries. Within his first 5 games, he recorded 2 double-doubles. Unfortunately, his promising season was cut short by right wrist surgery, marking the beginning of persistent injuries that would plague his career. Despite these setbacks, Williams had flashes of his once greatness, such as when he scored an insane 57 points against the Charlotte Bobcats. He was named an All-Star in his first 2 years with the Nets, becoming the centerpiece of the team's effort to build a super team in their new home city, Brooklyn. To complement Williams, Nets added seasoned stars Paul Pierce, Joe Johnson, and Kevin Garnett. However, tensions arose, particularly between Williams and Pierce, who constantly criticized Williams' injuries and work ethic. This team became an easy stop for the Miami Big Three in the playoffs. Injuries continued to mount, diminishing Williams' role by the 2014-2015 season. Consequently, the Nets waived him in the offseason, buying out the remaining 2 years of his contract. Williams then spent 2 seasons in a more limited role with the Dallas Mavericks, struggling to find his form. His last stop was with the Cleveland Cavaliers, aiming for a championship. However, his performance hit rock bottom in the NBA Finals, shooting just 2 for 16 and scoring 5 points over 5 games. The Cavaliers lost to the Golden State Warriors, marking the end of Williams' basketball career. Despite his career ending on a low note, Deron Williams' moments of brilliance in the NBA remain unforgettable. He became an instant impact player for the Utah Jazz team that were expected to be in rebuilding years. He filled the shoes of a legend point guard and did it in a way that only Deron Williams could.